Shalom Aleichem Rabotai. Mishnah Yomi continues in the second chapter of Maaser Sheni, Mishnah Dalet. Yesterday we brought a machlokes, Rabbi Shimon and the sages, about anointing with Maaser Sheni, and Rabbi Shimon said there are kulas by Terumah, by Tilton and Karshinim, so therefore we can't learn from Terumah. We allow anointing by Terumah, we can't learn that to Maaser Sheni. We mentioned that fenugreek was used by shampoo, even fenugreek of Terumah could be used by Kohanim for shampoo. So today, Mishnah Dalet mentioned the Karshinim Maaser Sheni, the Vetch of Maaser Sheni. This Vetch is typically understood as some sort of beanstalk that was typically, most likely, fed to animals, but in theory could be eaten by humans. Ye'ochlu tzimchonim. You have to eat it when it's moist. People only eat it when it's moist. Once it's dried out, it's really not suitable for people, only for animals. And Maaser Sheni, Rabbos, I will see, cannot be fed to animals, only to people. Now, this is in general a kula by Terumah. Kohanim can feed Terumah to their animals, whereas Maaser Sheni can only be fed to human beings. V'nichnos in Yerushalayim v'yotzin, but this vetch can be brought into Yerushalayim and then brought back out. Now, this is a kula by vetch, since it's not such a normal food for humans. Normally, when Maaser Sheni food gets into Yerushalayim, you can't take it out again. Chomot koto, the walls, once it's in the walls, it's stuck. You can't bring it out, but here you're allowed to bring it out. You could grind it, you could take it back out, because this vetch is not really human food. Lechatchila, it's normally understood as animal food. Nitmu, what if your vetch gets tameh, or bitarfin omer, yitcholku leisot, divide it into breads. Now this is kind of interesting. We have a concept we're going to see, ein podin leklovim. We don't redeem Maaser Sheni just to throw it to the dogs, which is probably the origin of an old English expression, take your favor you're trying to give me and throw it to the dogs. Okay, similar thing. We don't redeem Maaser Sheni just to give to dogs, but if you make it into rolls, so Rashi seems to understand you're making it into rolls that human beings could eat. Now it's rawi to human beings, and you could redeem it, even though it's tameh and you can't use it as Maaser Sheni, but you could redeem it and have your Maaser Sheni money again and buy Maaser Sheni that's tahor. Chachamim omrim yifadu. The sages say you can go ahead and redeem it, even though it becomes tameh. V'shel Terumah. Now we're comparing again, as we did yesterday, the vetch, the karshinim of Terumah versus Maaser Sheni, and they says that you can soak it, shorin v'shafin b'tzachara. When you soak it, or when you rub it on your skin, apparently it had some sort of cosmetic effect also, it had to be b'tzachara. Again, as we mentioned yesterday, washing your hands first. Hands that are not washed are considered shnios. They have a second degree tumah, contamination capability, which is why we always wash our hands before eating bread, and why we always wash our hands before handling terumah that's going to be used for eating. However, here we're saying for soaking or rubbing, and the soaking is to prepare for eating. That must be done with clean hands. Ma'chilin betuma, but the Kohen can feed it to his animal betuma, because an animal is allowed to eat truma tameya. Beit Hillel omrim shorin betzahara. You have to soak it in a state of purity after washing your hands, because now it's going to become human food. V'shafin ma'chilin betuma. You could rub it on the skin or feed it to animals, even when your hands are dirty. Shammai Omer, Shammai himself says, Ya'achlu tsurid. You can feed it to the animals once it's very dried out. So he is machmer, he doesn't want it to be wet at all, to be mekabel tuma, treats it as a food entirely, even when it's being fed to animals. Rabbi Akiva Omer, kol naseha b'tuma. Rabbi Akiva goes to the other extreme. He says, you don't have to treat it b'tahara at all, because it's primarily an animal food, primarily not a human food. So you don't have to wash your hands before handling the karshinim of Terumah. Mishnah Hay turns to what happens when your coins fall on the floor. Ma'ut chulin u'ma'ut Maaser Sheni shinit pazers. You had some coins that were regular chulin money, no kedusha, and you had some coins of Maaser Sheni, and they were both, on the table or on the desk, and they fell on the floor. Masha liket Maaser Sheni od sheyashlim. So if you had 100 coins, he's keeping track of those. He had 100 coins of Maaser Sheni, and he had 100 coins of chulin, or 200 coins of chulin, whatever it is. So he starts picking up the coins off the floor. So the first 100 coins he picks up off the floor are going to be considered Maaser Sheni. And normally we don't exchange coins for coins in Maaser Sheni, But in this case, there's really no ein brera. There's nothing else he can do. So the first 100 coins he picks up, he's going to treat them as Maaser Sheni and say the kedusha of the Maaser Sheni coins should be on these 100 coins. So the first 100 are for Maaser Sheni, until you get to 100 v'shar chulin, and the rest of the coins are chulin. And this has an advantage of maybe you had 200 coins of chulin and a couple of them, rolled down to the basement or you can't get them. So if he loses a couple coins, he's only lost chulin coins. He's not losing any Maaser Sheni coins. In bolo, if they're all mixed up, they fall into a pile together, they fall all into the same jar or something like this. The chafan, he scoops them all up together. He's not picking up one at a time. He's scooping them all up. Lefi cheshbon. So the coins are treated according to their percentages. So if he had 100 coins of Maaser Sheni and 200 of chulin, so then he takes 1/3 of the coins out and treats them as Maaser Sheni. Again, says that the kedusha of the Maaser Sheni, wherever it is on these coins. Zeya klal, the Mishnah concludes, this is the general rule. Hamitzloktim, if he's picking them up one at a time, Maaser Sheni. So again, the first set of coins he picks up in the number of coins that are Maaser Sheni has to treat those as Maaser Sheni. Uvanivlolim, if they're mixed up, they're bolul, lefi cheshbon. So he separates them out according to the percentage. Go ahead, Rabosai.